Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Recently I had a request from a subscriber saying, can you please do a simplified, uncomplicated makeup tutorial, because this person said she feels overwhelmed sometimes with the number of steps and products used in tutorials. I completely understand. So today I am bringing you a tutorial on this look here, and believe it or not, it's very simple. I have not only scaled back on the number of products used, but also the number of steps and the number of tools and brushes. So one way that you can definitely simplify your makeup routine is by doing kind of an all-in-one face and eye palette. A couple of examples of those would be this one from Tarte. This is the Clay Play Volume 2. I think they've done a couple of these, but it has your highlighter, your blush, your bronzer, and then it has a good mix of some easy color combinations for eyeshadows. The other palette that came to mind is this Too Faced Sugar Peach. This is a face and eye palette. So these are usually what I use on the face, but they are also meant to be used on the eyes. So this is going to give you a super soft eye look, but you can use something like this to do a complete your face, your eyes, and everything. Now today I chose to use an eyeshadow palette and then a face palette that are separate from each other, but I want to show you that because I think sometimes you can think an eyeshadow palette automatically complicates things, and it really doesn't. In fact, sometimes I feel like by having a couple of extra colors at your disposal, it can make blending super quick and easy. Sometimes when you do a two shadow look, you actually have to spend more time blending because generally you're going to be using a pretty deep shade and a pretty light shade, and it takes more work to blend those together. So don't be thrown off by the number of eyeshadow colors I'm using, because I'm going to show you how that actually makes things easier. I've also simplified the lip, the foundation, the concealer, all of that. So if you're ready to see how to get this look in a very uncomplicated way, then just keep on watching. Starting off, something that I cannot skip is eyelid primer, and I'm going to use the Thrive Cosmetics Eye Lift 360. I think this one is just really nice, and it blends in really easily and quickly. So after letting that sit on my eye for about a minute to dry down, that's a very important thing to do. Now I'm going to go into my eyeshadow palette. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning, there are several face and eye combination palettes, and those actually will save you some time as well. But sometimes for me, I like a few options, but it doesn't mean it has to be complicated. So I'm going to be using the Urban Decay Naked Reloaded palette today because I think this is a very easy, non-complicated palette to use. So I'm going to do a combination of these two end shades on my E50, and I am going to put this under the brow bone, and then I am also going to brush this through the crease and just a little bit onto the lid. This is going to help our crease shades blend easily. Then taking my fluffy M504, I'm going to go in with this shade right here. Tap off the brush because these are pretty soft, and I'm going to do just a real light wash of this through the crease. This is just important to add some definition, especially if you have hooded eyes. This is going to bring up a little bit of color and kind of disguise the hood. And then we're going to just darken the outer corner a little bit, and I'm going to go in with this dark brown called Endgame. Sorry, I haven't been giving you the names of these shadows. This is Endgame, and then I'm going to tap into a little bit of this lighter brown shade, which is called Bucked. And what this is going to do is it's going to make that dark brown blend faster and easier. We're still going to have some definition there, but it's not going to take quite as much work to blend it out. And you can see it's just blended really nicely there into the outer part of the crease. On the lid, I'm going to use first this shade right here, which is called Reputation. Such a pretty shade. It's kind of a coppery, shimmery coppery color. And I'm just putting this on first with my fingers. And I think a finger applying shimmer shadows just lays down the most pigment in a quick fashion. So you can see there it's pretty kind of golden copper. And then I'm going to go over the top of it with a little bit of Angel Fire. And I'm just going to tap that lightly over the top of it. And this is just going to bring a little bit of extra life to that color and add a little dimension, but that was super easy to do. And then I just go back one more time with my M433 No Extra Product. And then the last step, yes, the last step before mascara is liner, and I'm going to use the IT Cosmetics No Tug liner, and this is in the shade Brown. And I am going to now add definition right into the roots of my lashes, and I am going to wedge this outer corner just slightly up. And I am going past my eye just slightly. Don't go crazy here, but that just gives the outer edge of the eye a little more lift. And then on the inner corner, I'm gonna keep it real tight to the lashes, but I want to add just a little bit of extra depth there. Now you could also line your inner rim. I am not going to do that today because I know sometimes that scares people, but you could go under your lashes and that'll add a little extra thickness at your lash line. And then I'm gonna take just this angled flat brush, and right here I'm going to just use that brush to just feather out the edge of that liner before it dries. And you can see it just left a real soft trail there at the edge. And then I'm going to take that brush and a little bit of this dark brown. And if there's any part of that line that isn't quite straight, you can just use that shadow to soften the edge, straighten it out, set the liner. And then while I have that brush, I'm going to take just a tiny little bit along the lower lash line. And then when you get all done, you can decide if you want to do this or not. For me, I like to go back and add in just a touch of this bright, it's called Retro. It's a coral shade, and I'm going to go back on the M504. And I'm just going to lightly tap this through the crease, and it just adds a hint of some kind of freshness, I think, to the eye look. Now before going in with foundation and concealer, I'm going to clean up under the eyes. Normally I cut this out, but several of you have been saying, please, I want to see how you do this. So I just put a little bit of almond oil from a big jug that I order into this small glass bottle. I use a Q-tip, and I am just going to take away any fallout that's under my eyes here. And then I use this to clean up this outer edge. So you can see I went past the corner of my eye with the eyeshadow, which I often do, because then I just drag the Q-tip up at an angle. Don't go this way, go this way, and it just finishes the edge of the eye and gives it that little bit of lift up going towards the brow. And as you're doing this, you kind of want to relax your eye, especially if you have hooded eyes. If you do this and clean up, you're going to go way too high, and then when you relax, it's going to look a little strange. So try and relax a little bit. Drag your Q-tip up, and that finishes the edge. And then I just tap in the excess and use this as a little added moisture before going in with concealer. Now when it comes to foundation, there are a couple that I consider kind of fuss-free and uncomplicated, and by that I mean you can slap it on your face and go. One that I like to actually use my fingers with as well as a brush, but I think it works well with fingers, so if you're a fingers foundation applier, the Too Faced Peach Perfect, I think this is super easy to apply. You've seen me use that a lot. The other one that, even though it does require a brush, I feel like it gives you full coverage very quickly, and it has your SPF and skincare ingredients, so if you really want to skip several steps in your routine, the It Cosmetics Confidence in a Compact. But again, you've seen me use that a ton, so I'm going to go back to one that I think I've only used once on here, and it's the Kevyn Aucoin, and this is the Foundation Balm. I used this the other day, and it's so super easy. It comes with this little tiny brush, and you just tap the brush in the product, and literally just swipe it on. The only thing on my face, I used a combination hydrating primer from Tula. I have a review of that coming, but technically it's basically a moisturizer. So I don't have any kind of regular foundation primer or anything on. I am just using this brush, and with this foundation, it doesn't take a whole lot to give you good coverage. And this is not a foundation. If you have super dry skin, you're not gonna like this, but I think normal to combination oily, you'll like this foundation. Now, I often forget to tell you what shade I'm in. In that one, I am medium FB06, and it's kind of surprising because it's pretty light. So just know that they seem to run a little lighter in their shade range. So then next up is concealer, and to skip corrector and all that, I'm going to go straight in with this Maybelline Magic Rewind Eraser, or Instant Age Rewind Eraser. And I have just been kind of going back. This was one that I used to use years ago, and had it in the neutralizing shade. So I've just kind of been testing out this, and what shade do I have? I have Warm Light. That's a little light, but we'll make it work today. And then I just go back with my foundation brush, just blend the edge of that a little bit. Next it's time to powder, and I'm going to use the Too Faced Peach Perfect powder, and this is the F30 from Sigma, and I love this brush for just laying down a very quick layer of powder. You can see I'm just tapping it all over the face, and then I just buff it out. All right, and my concealer is about to get all creasy, so I just tapped it in a little bit, and I'm gonna go in with the Kat Von D brightening powder. I have it in Peach and Petal. I think today I'm gonna use Peach, and I'm just really lightly going to set that. All right, time for blush and bronzer and highlight. So I'm gonna go into the Smashbox Cali Contour, and this is the original one. I think they came out with one that has brighter colors. So I'm gonna use, this is a new brush from Alamar, it came in BoxyCharm, but if you have an angled brush that's kind of soft, but still has a decent amount of bristles, I'm gonna use this for contour and blush. So okay, I'm going in with the contour shade and the matte bronzer, just doing a combination of those two on this brush. And what I'm gonna do to save time is I'm actually gonna start here at the back of the cheek, and I'm using kind of the angle of that brush to help kind of find my cheekbone and do all of the contouring for me. Then I'm going to flip my brush over so that the pointed end is here, and I'm going to use that to diffuse the edge of that contour. And you'll notice I started back here because that's where the majority of the product's gonna go. It'll save you from having to do a ton of blending out once you get that on your cheek. And there you go. You can see we just have a really nice, soft, contoured, bronzed cheek all at once. So let's just do the other one. And then depending on what you want to contour, if you don't have a large forehead or anything, you don't need to contour your forehead. I just like to go around the edge and add just a tiny little bit of shadow. It's not complicated. You can see that took me like 10 seconds, right? And then I am going to also take a little bit of this, and don't worry, this is not Instagram makeup, because I'm using this really soft brush and these colors are not super dark. It's not gonna make me look funny in real person, but it is just adding kind of a natural shadow look, which kind of thins out the fluff under here and also just gives me a little more definition here along the jawline. And then I'm going to go in with my Lorac contour brush. I think this is the easiest thing to do if you want to do a quick nose contour. I'm going to do a combination of those two again. And I love this brush because basically all you have to do is set your brush down and it is already curved in, so it gives you kind of a natural little pinch there in the middle of the nose. And I do this again. I don't do a super strong nose contour because I want it to look natural in person. So just a little bit of shading. Everybody's nose has a little bit of a shadow there, so I'm just helping it out a little. And then I'm going to go in with this shade right here and just brush a little bit of that there. Then I'm going to just clean off that brush and go right in with the blush. Brush, blush, those are hard to say together. Okay, and I am going to now pop this on my cheeks. And then use that brush to go in with, I think I'm going to use this highlighter shade right here. And just putting a little bit of that. Now this is a super soft highlighter. In case you don't want to use a separate highlighter, this one works. Just very soft. For brows, I'm going to use the NYX Precision Brow Pencil in the shade Taupe. And I just freshly dyed my eyebrows. I have a video on that in case you're interested. But this is one of the quickest, easiest pencils because the tip is flat. It's easy to just get right under your brow and define the bottom edge. But then you can also easily just run it through the center of your brow if you have any spots that you need to fill in. And then you can use it again to kind of pull out and lengthen the tail of your brow. And then just going to do a tiny little bit, so doing it vertically here, taking the pencil vertically just to make it look like I have a few more hairs there in the center of the brow. And then something that I usually do because I need my brows to be kind of set in place, and I think this helps the longevity of the brow pencil. You could skip this if you want, but I'm going to use the Thrive Cosmetics Instant Brow Fix. You can just go in straight with this if you don't need a lot of fill-in, but this is in the shade Audrey, and I just have really fallen in love with this. It holds the brow, and I feel like it helps the brow color stay in my brows as well. It's also supposed to, over time, help your brow color kind of grow in a little darker. I don't know that I've seen that, but I am enjoying this brow gel. Let's curl our lashes. All right, and then to keep things super simple, I'm just gonna use one mascara. I'm gonna use the Thrive Cosmetics liquid lash extensions. I usually use this on my lower lashes because it does not smudge on me, but I'm gonna use this on the upper lashes today. It is a nice mascara. It's not quite as thickening as my Superhero, but it does give the lashes a really pretty look and definitely adds nice length to them as well. Okay, now one final step for the inner corner of the eyes. You know me well, it's not hard. We're just gonna go back with this shimmer shade. This is Angel Fire, and I'm also going to put a little bit of this first shade, which is called Bribe. And I am just going to tap that on my finger on the inner corner, and then just bring that over onto our lid just slightly. One of those super easy things to do, but I think it makes a big impact. Now I'm just gonna tap on a tiny bit more blush. And then real quick, I'm just gonna go around the edge with my MAC Soft Ochre Paint Pot. For lips, you could definitely use a liquid lipstick, and these are two that I love. This is the Maybelline Matte Superstay Matte Ink or the Kat Von D liquid lipsticks. Neither of these are super drying, but they do last really well on the lips. Today I'm going to use something else that I consider to be non-fussy and easy. These are the Buxom, what are these called? Plump Line Lip Liner. There it is. And this is the shade Hush Hush. So you can use these as a liner and a lipstick, all in one. And then on the other end is a brush. You can just kind of work that into your lips. And here's our finished look. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Whether you are somebody who says, I really don't enjoy the process of applying makeup, give me something super simple, or you're somebody like me who enjoys the process but doesn't always have the time to do it. Hopefully I gave you some ideas of how to simplify your routine when you need to. Thank you as always so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.